Hi, I'm Amelia. Some people say family always has your back, but those people haven't met my mother. I adjusted my daughter Lily's backpack as we walked through the shelter's common area. My son Noah trailed behind, eyes fixed on his handheld game. Miss Rivera, our case manager, approached with a warm smile. Morning, Amelia. How did you and the kids sleep? Better than expected. Right, guys? I squeezed Lily's shoulder. Lily nodded. My bed didn't smell like Daddy's angry cologne. My heart clenched. Even at 6, she associated her father's expensive cologne with his explosive temper. Noah? Everything okay? Miss Rivera asked. My 9-year-old shrugged without looking up. Whatever. He's still processing, I explained. 3 weeks ago, we had a 4-bedroom house and weekend trips to the lake. Now we're sharing a room with strangers. You made the right decision, Amelia, Miss Rivera said, guiding us toward her office. The paperwork for your new apartment came through. You can move in tomorrow. Really? Relief flooded my voice. Did you hear that, kids? Our own place? Lily jumped up and down while Noah finally looked up from his game. Does it have internet? It will, I promised. And separate bedrooms for both of you. Miss Rivera handed me a folder. Here's the address and keys. Remember, this location is confidential. Only share it with people you absolutely trust. I won't make that mistake again. 3 separate police reports against Marcus had led nowhere. He knew how to be charming when it counted. Later that evening, I called my mother while the kids were in the shelter's playroom. Mom, we found an apartment, I said, lowering my voice. Oh, thank goodness. Marcus has been beside himself, Amelia. He misses the children terribly. I gripped the phone tighter. Mom, he pushed me down the stairs. If I hadn't caught myself, I could have broken my neck. He says you tripped. You've always been dramatic, honey. Why do you always take his side? My voice cracked. He's your husband, Amelia. Marriage takes work. I need your support, Mom. We're moving into the new place tomorrow. I can text you the address, but promise you won't tell Marcus. She sighed dramatically. This secretive behavior isn't healthy. Promise me, Mom. Fine, I promise. But you're making a mistake. The next afternoon, as we settled into our small but clean apartment, my phone buzzed with a text from my best friend, Zoe. Hey, just checking in. How's the new place? I was about to respond when someone pounded on the door. Amelia, open this door right now. I know you're in there. Lily dropped her doll. Daddy's here. Noah ran to my side, trembling. How did he find us? As Marcus continued shouting and banging, I ushered the children into the bathroom. Lock the door and don't come out until I say so. I called 911 with shaking hands, then texted Zoe. Marcus found us. Call for help. The dispatcher promised officers were on the way, but Marcus was becoming more enraged. Your mother told me everything, Amelia. You can't keep my kids from me. And that's when I knew. The only person who had our address was my mother. The police arrived within minutes, forcing Marcus to leave with a warning. After they departed, Zoe showed up with dinner and wide eyes. Are you okay? What happened? She hugged me tightly while the kids devoured pizza in the kitchen. My mother gave Marcus our address, I said, still in disbelief. The only person I trusted with it, and she betrayed us immediately. Zoe's face darkened. That's beyond messed up. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But I can't stay here now that he knows where we are. My phone rang. My mother. Marcus just called me, completely upset, she began without greeting. He said the police escorted him from the property. Amelia, how could you? How could I? How could you? You promised not to tell him. He's their father. He has rights. He has a restraining order against him. Did you forget that part? Those things are so easily misunderstood. He broke my wrist last year, Mom. There was nothing to misunderstand. Zoe tapped my shoulder and mouthed, Speakerphone. I nodded and switched it on. Amelia, you need to work this out with Marcus. He loves you and the children. Did he ask you to tell me that? I demanded. Well, yes, but... So you're his messenger now? After you promised me... He was so upset. What was I supposed to do? Keep your promise to your daughter? Protect your grandchildren? Zoe took notes on her phone as my mother continued making excuses. After I hung up, Zoe showed me what she'd written. Your mom admitted she deliberately broke her promise and that Marcus asked her to relay messages despite the restraining order. That's facilitating contact, which violates the order. The next morning, I met with Detective Reyes at the police station while Zoe watched the kids. So your mother deliberately gave your ex your new address, knowing about the restraining order? She clarified, typing notes. Yes, and then she called to relay messages from him. That's concerning. Did you explain the situation to your apartment manager? I did. They're letting us move to a different unit in another building, but I'm worried it's not enough. Detective Reyes leaned forward. Miss Vega, have you considered pressing charges against your mother for aiding in the violation of the restraining order? Can I do that? Yes. She knowingly helped him locate you and then facilitated communication. Both violate the order. I hesitated. She's my mother. Who put you and your children at risk? Detective Reyes said gently. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the most necessary ones. As I considered this, Miss Rivera arrived for our scheduled meeting. I heard what happened, she said, joining us. The shelter has a legal advocate who can help. There's something called a third-party restraining order that could prevent your mother from contacting both you and your ex. Detective Reyes nodded. That would create a legal buffer, and documenting this betrayal could strengthen your custody case. Marcus would be furious if I got a restraining order against my own mother. That's exactly the point, Miss Rivera said. It removes her as his access point to you and the children. As we discussed options, Detective Reyes received a call. Her expression tightened as she listened. That was Patrol. Your ex-husband is at your mother's house right now, apparently planning to surprise you there when you supposedly come for Sunday dinner. He thinks I'd still come for dinner after what happened? I asked incredulously. People believe what they want to, Detective Reyes replied. This gives us an opportunity, though. We can arrest him for violating the restraining order if you're willing to help. Sunday arrived with knots in my stomach. Detective Reyes and I had developed a plan, but seeing it through required confronting both my mother and Marcus. Are you sure about this? Zoe asked as she helped me prepare. The kids were safe with her parents for the day. I've never been more sure, I replied. They need to understand there are consequences. We arrived at the station where Detective Reyes and Officer Chen were waiting. Remember, Detective Reyes said, we'll be monitoring everything. You're wearing a wire and we'll have plainclothes officers positioned nearby. Your safety is our priority. What if my mother refuses to admit what she did? I asked. Just get her talking about how she gave Marcus your address. That's all we need. An hour later, I stood on my mother's porch, heart hammering. I rang the doorbell. She opened it with a bright smile that faltered slightly. Amelia, I wasn't sure you'd come. Where are the children? They're with friends. I stepped inside, scanning for signs of Marcus. I wanted to talk to you alone first. Well, I'm glad you're being reasonable finally. She led me to the living room. Tea? No thanks. Mom, we need to discuss what happened with Marcus. She waved dismissively. Water under the bridge. He's calmed down now. You broke your promise. You put us in danger. Don't be so dramatic. Marcus wouldn't hurt a fly. He broke my wrist. He pushed me down the stairs. How can you still defend him? Accidents happen in marriages, Amelia. Your father wasn't always gentle either. So you admit Marcus has been violent? She fidgeted. I didn't say that. Mom, why did you tell him our address after promising not to? He deserved to know where his children are. I did what any good mother-in-law would do. Even though I told you we were hiding from him, even though there's a restraining order, those things are just papers, Amelia. Family is what matters. So you admit you knowingly violated a court order? I wouldn't phrase it that way, but yes, I told Marcus where you were staying. Someone needed to be the adult. The front door opened, and Marcus walked in with a bouquet of flowers. He froze when he saw me. Amelia, you came. This isn't a coincidence, is it? I asked, looking between them. Mom knew you'd be here. We thought it would be good for you two to talk, my mother said defensively. Without lawyers and police interfering, Marcus approached slowly. Amelia, we need to work this out. I miss the kids. I miss you. You violated the restraining order by being here, I said, stepping back. Your mother invited me. She said you were ready to talk. I turned to my mother. So you lied to him too, or did you plan this ambush together? Don't be ridiculous, she snapped. I'm trying to save your marriage. By helping him stalk me? By putting your grandchildren at risk? Marcus's face darkened. Nobody's at risk, Amelia. Stop being hysterical. There it is, I said quietly. Tell me I'm overreacting. Tell me I'm crazy. That's always your move, isn't it? I've apologized 1,000 times. His voice rose. What more do you want? I want you to respect the restraining order and leave us alone. They're my kids too. Kids you terrified. Noah still has nightmares about your discipline. Marcus stepped closer, pointing his finger in my face. You turned them against me. You poisoned them. Step back, Marcus. My voice was steady despite my racing heart. Or what? You'll call the police again? In your mother's house? On cue, Detective Reyes and 2 officers entered through the front door. Marcus Vega, you're under arrest for violating the restraining order. As they handcuffed him, my mother gasped. Amelia, what have you done? Detective Reyes turned to her. Mrs. Gardner, we have recorded evidence of your admission to violating a court order. You're also being charged with aiding and abetting. This is absurd. I'm her mother. Which makes your betrayal even worse, I said quietly. 2 months later, I sat in the courthouse hallway with Zoe and Miss Rivera, waiting for the hearing to begin. Are you ready for this? Zoe squeezed my hand. As ready as I'll ever be. My mother's attorney approached. Miss Vega, my client would like to speak with you before we begin. Anything she wants to say can be said in court, Miss Rivera intervened. He nodded stiffly and walked away. Good boundary setting, Zoe whispered. Inside the courtroom, I avoided looking at my mother as our case was called. Judge Patel reviewed the documents. We're here regarding the third-party restraining order against Eleanor Gardner, as well as the violation charges against both Mrs. Gardner and Marcus Vega. Marcus had already pleaded guilty to his violations in exchange for a reduced sentence, leaving only my mother's case to be decided. My mother's attorney spoke first. Your Honor, Mrs. Gardner acted out of concern for her family. She believed she was mediating a temporary marital dispute. Despite a standing restraining order? Judge Patel asked. She made an error in judgment, Your Honor. When my turn came, I approached the stand and told my story clearly and calmly. I described the abuse, the escape to the shelter, my mother's promise, and her betrayal. Did your mother understand there was a restraining order in place? Yes, Your Honor. I reminded her multiple times. And did she understand the potential danger her actions created? She chose not to believe there was danger, despite my broken wrist and the police reports. After I stepped down, my mother took the stand. Mrs. Gardner, did you give your daughter's address to Mr. Vega despite promising not to? I did, but only because... Yes or no answers, please. Yes. And did you arrange for Mr. Vega to be at your home when you invited your daughter over? Yes. Knowing there was an active restraining order? Those things are often exaggerated. Mrs. Gardner, please answer the question. Yes, I knew about it. Judge Patel didn't take long to make her decision. Mrs. Gardner, the court finds your actions both reckless and deliberate. You endangered your daughter and grandchildren by facilitating contact with someone legally barred from approaching them. I am granting the third-party restraining order and imposing community service for the violation charges. My mother's face crumpled, but I maintained my composure. Outside the courtroom, she tried to approach me. Amelia, please. I'm your mother. I stood my ground. You chose Marcus over me and the children. You put us in danger. I can't trust you anymore. I was trying to keep our family together. No. You were trying to force me back into an abusive marriage because it was easier than facing the truth. What will you tell the children about why they can't see their grandmother? The truth. That sometimes people who should protect us don't, and we have to protect ourselves. 2 weeks later, I sat with Noah and Lily in our new apartment across town, helping them with homework. A knock at the door made me tense until I checked the security camera. "It's Miss Rivera," I told the kids, opening the door. She entered with a folder. "Good news. The court granted your petition for sole custody. Marcus will only have supervised visitation after completing his anger management program." Noah looked up. "Does that mean Dad can't come here?" "That's right," I assured him. "He can only see you at the visitation center with supervisors present." "What about Grandma?" Lily asked. I sat beside them. "Grandma made choices that weren't safe for us. The judge said she needs to stay away for now." "Because she told Dad where we were?" Noah asked. "Yes. Sometimes people we love make bad choices, and we need to keep ourselves safe." Later that evening, as the kids slept, Zoe came over with celebratory cupcakes. "To new beginnings," she said, raising her coffee mug. "And to finally being believed," I added. "Do you think your mom will ever understand what she did wrong?" "I don't know. And for the first time, I'm okay with not knowing. My focus is on Noah and Lily now." "You did it, Em. You protected your kids and yourself." I nodded, feeling stronger than I had in years. The system finally worked for us instead of against us. What happens next? We heal, we build our new life, and we never look back. Would you have had the courage to stand up to your own mother if she betrayed you? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of triumph over adversity.